Good afternoon, Yvonne. We're here with Yvonne Roberts and Diane Worley to have some conversation about gratitude and giving and what that all means in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic. Diane Worley is here as chair of the stewardship committee, and we're just really glad, Yvonne, that you have agreed to help us out to talk to us today.
Yes, well, I'll do the best I can.
So, Yvonne, could you tell us a little bit about how long you've been at the church and how you got to St. Alban the Martyr, and for people who might be watching who don't know you, because you're generally a 7:30 person, so not everyone has the opportunity to know you. And I'll have your picture up at the beginning of this and at the end of this for people who may not know you.
All right. Well, I joined the church back it was 1976. And the reason that I joined the church is because my parents moved from Brooklyn and they joined the St. Alban the Martyr. And excuse me, I didn't move to to Queens for several years after. No, I'm getting it confused now. No, well, anyway, because of them, I joined the church. That was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Before I was even born, Yvonne.
And the church is sort of giving me spiritual food to give me to nourish my faith and my strength, and in order to help me with this situation in the church at this point with the COVID-19 and the injustice and the injustice that's going on in the world now. And I think it's very important that we pledge, giving our pledges on time. I mean, it's easy to pledge, but we have to follow through with our pledges, because the church is extremely important to us. And if we don't pledge, the doors will close and the lights will go out, and we cannot have this. So whoever can pledge, make extra, give extra in their pledges would be very helpful at this time, because I'm not sure, but maybe some of the parishioners, were laid off or furloughed from the church, and I'm not from the church, and not be able to pledge as much as they would, for last year. And if we can increase our pledges, that will, help us out quite a bit.
What's it been like with you live alone and you haven't been able to come out. So what has the church meant to you while you've been kind of locked down and isolated?
Well, as I said, it gives me my spiritual food to give me hope and give me faith as the time goes by. And even though I'm not online at this particular time, I still I call in, and I'm a little nervous. I call in and I'm getting my spiritual food when I join the morning services and the services on Wednesday and Sunday. Even though I'm not there in person, I still feel that I'm there worshiping with, the fellow church members. Yeah, so it means a lot to me.
I think you may have answered it in a nutshell, but how did you feel, and how do you feel? I'll ask you two questions in one. How did you feel being away from the building and not being able to fellowship in person? And how has Zoom worship during the lockdown helped you, help you to cope?
Yes, well, of course I miss the parishioners, that we worship together. But going on Zoom is very important because when I'm there, when I call in on Zoom, I feel that I'm right there with my church members.
You feel connected.
We're connected with each other. Yes, and even on Wednesday and Sunday, I just use my imagination. It's just like I'm there with my parishioners to worship together. It's not exactly the same, of course, but I'm still getting my spiritual food.
Good,
Words.
good.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the next question. So spiritual communion, what has spiritual communion meant to you versus traditional communion? The prayer that we say.
Oh, well, it's just about almost the same because I'm saying the same prayers.
Yeah.
Because one of the parishioners, they give me the bulletin on Saturday, so I'm able to follow through on Sunday as if I was there in church with all of my church members. Of course, it's different because I'm not physically there, but at this time with the pandemic, I mean, it's different anyway because they have to sit far apart. You can't get close to your parishioners, to the parishioners. It's different. I'm sure. I haven't been to church yet. But I still feel that I'm going back to the spiritual food.
Yeah.
I feel very satisfied, and I think our Father is doing a wonderful job with the technology. And I'm very satisfied right now until I, decide to go back to church.
It's interesting you say that because I feel like even though I've only seen you once since this all started, I feel like I see you almost every day because I hear your voice almost every single day. So you're right. I mean, it really struck me about that connectedness you're talking about.
Yes. And as far as giving, it's I think it's very important as when you're pledging. It's it's easy to just jot down numbers and things, but I think it's very, very important to follow through because the church, it takes a lot to keep the church up. And we don't want we want those lights to stay on. It's extremely important because there will come a time, hopefully not too long, when we can get together again and worship together in our church. So it's very, very important to keep our pledges going and put a note on your refrigerator or whatnot to make sure you send your pledges in on time so the bills can be paid. That's very important.
I didn't have to pay you to say that either, Yvonne. Thank you very much.
Basically what Yvonne is relaying, is saying is treat your pledges you would do your rent or your mortgage. Make it a priority.
That's a good way to look at it.
But maybe even more important, right? Why I had a professor in seminary who used to say, why is it that the last check we write every month is to God?
And it should be the
Shouldn't it
first.
be the first. Yeah,
Should be
that
the
really
first.
and he really that kind of one sentence that he said at one class completely changed my view on giving. So Yvonne, I promised this was going to be short, so I'm going to wrap it up with this. And I thank you for just taking even this little time out to talk with us today. But can you talk a little bit about what you've been, even though we've all been, between the election and COVID, we've been talking about everything we've been missing and everything but going wrong. And we don't really talk a lot about gratitude, but are you feeling grateful at all about anything?
Oh, I'm grateful about everything, Father. Every morning when I open my eyes, that's the first thing I say. Thank you, Lord, for this day, for this strength, for this life, for watching over me. Because listen, I'm so grateful to be this, come to this age in my life. It's a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah.
A lot to be grateful for all
and to be of sound mind and judgment.
Well, sometimes I wonder myself, but no.
We all do.
I'm teasing.
I don't think that's anything to do with age.
No, no, seriously. I always thank God for my family, my friends, my church family, and for giving me strength at this point in my life, to continue on. I'm not, bedridden or, anything like that. But I do pray for those that are. I do pray for those that are.
Well, Yvonne, I'm really glad that the church has been able to be, a source of comfort and support as you've been alone in the last couple months and since 1976. It seems to have been such an important part of your life. So I'm glad that we can do that. And I know that with people like you and everyone who gives so generously out of their hearts, out of this gratitude, that we're going to continue to be able to do ministry at St. Alban the Martyr. So thanks to you and to Diane for taking this time out this afternoon to have this little chat. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back in your pew very soon, once we can do that.
All right, Dad.
All right.
And I hope I helped a little.
I know you did.
No,
Thanks
you did.
very much.
Thank you, Yvonne. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.